Internet. Welcome to Why Am I Watching This? My name is Kyle Mustang, and this week's movie is not like everyone else. And don't mind that, it doesn't really mean anything. I just have a thing for Chris Hemsworth. Not Like Everyone Else stars Arrested Development's Alia Shawkat as real-life Brandy Blackbear, who was expelled from her high school under suspicion of practicing witchcraft. The movie begins 4 days after the Columbine shootings in 1999. Now, for those of you who don't remember, right after Columbine, parents and teachers and administrators became very paranoid that teenagers were going to rise against them, the same way that machines will someday rise against us, as told to us by movies such as The Terminator, The Matrix, and Maximum Overdrive. Right away, we know that Brandy and her friend Kyle are nonconformists, aka not like everyone else.
You better get used to reading that handout, ladies. They're burning all the library books at noon.
Why do you have to agitate? Because he loves the attention.
I thought the jaded teenage banter between the two of them really worked. So already I was on board with these two young actors. 12 minutes in and we already know who's responsible here. Popular girls. Brandy is a fiction writer and she listens to thrash metal music, which sounds a lot like Rage Against the Machine. Although this is a low-budget movie, so it's probably a knockoff of Rage, something like Flail in opposition to the Appliance.
She screamed. She screamed so long and loud that the whole town vibrated.
Illeana Douglas plays Brandy's mother. Now, if you don't know this actress, you should really look up her work. She was one of the indie darlings of the 90s, and she brightens every movie that she's in. Here she has great chemistry with Shawkat. It's like the actors are excited to be working together. Now, that's a key to good filmmaking. If it looks like the actors are having a good time, that actually transmit off the screen. If it looks like the actors are invested in the story, then that makes me want to be invested in the story.
Just want to say that this year is going to be better. I promise. Every day is a new day.
Do you have a better cliche?
I thought you loved that one.
Apparently her writing teacher is played by Jeff Foxworthy's stand-in. Foxworthy was slated to appear in this movie, but he had to be at the ribbon cutting of a Shoney's. What I want to know is, does this movie sidestep the race issue? Maybe it's implied by the filmmakers that Brandy and her family are the only Native Americans in this community. I don't know enough about the actual demographics of the real school to go on with this, but I do think it's implied there because they are the only Native Americans that appear in the film. So it seems that there would have been some sort of racist motivation behind the rumors that were spread about Brandy, but the film doesn't really go there. The movie has one Blair Witch reference, which I thought was pretty cool and pretty timely because it takes place in 1999.
Showtimes for the Blair Witch Project?
What?
That was one of the first found footage horror movies, sort of like Paranormal Activity, only believable. Embracing her new reputation as a witch, Brandy claims responsibility for a recent tornado. Now this got me thinking, wouldn't that be cool if the gays actually just started claiming responsibility for all of the natural disasters that the religious nuts blame on us? Hey, did you see on TV about the earthquake? I know, right? That orgy we had last weekend totally worked. There's only one point in the movie where a teacher makes a reasonable proposal.
What about counseling, peer mediation, programs to stop bullying? Why don't we just listen to the kids?
I'm a teacher. I don't have time to listen to my students. I love the best guy friend Kyle, who doesn't seem to care about anything. Kyle is played by Lucas Till, who would grow up to become hot and play Alex Summers, aka Havoc, in X-Men First Class. It's refreshing to see a movie about post-Columbine hysteria. When you break it down, Brandy Blackbear was a student who was expelled for checking out the wrong book. And now for a segment I like to call Illeana Douglas Explains the ACLU.
It's an organization called the ACLU. They fight for people's civil rights, like when you don't think that you're being treated right.
Brandy's lawyers tell her that she can no longer wear goth makeup, so instead they make her dress up like she's on Little House of the Prairie. The last third of this movie relies heavily on shaky handheld camera work. This comes off as a weak attempt to create tension during the hearing, because by this point in the movie, the story has more or less lost steam. Either that or the filmmakers are not comfortable enough with tackling the actual complexities of the real court case. The camera is literally all over the place during these scenes. At one point, it films from underneath someone's elbow. No, that's just getting sloppy. The protesters are holding up signs that say things like, "Get back on your broom!" I would have just loved if one of them said, "God hates hags." Of course, the crux of the story comes down to one thing, and that's the emotional center. Will Brandy's dad finally accept her?
When I was your age, all I wanted to do was blend in.
Because it tackles an important social issue and has some pretty solid performances, I give Not Like Everyone Else 5 Hermione Grangers out of 5.